Hello everyone, this is going to be a response to a 5 questions video put forth by Andre C. Martinez. And I'm going to just try to get this out of the way as fast as possible while Wes is taking a nap upstairs. Alright, I paraphrased the questions so that they're a little shorter. He gave me lots of praise and I really appreciate that. Thanks Andre. Number 1. Have you ever been in a situation where your flair for creativity has had a negative impact on your players and or game, or have you overdone it? I have made house rules that weren't agreeable to some players, and then they didn't come back to play again. And I only learned about this after they had left, and I emailed them to find out, what was going on a couple weeks later, why they never came back. I believe at the time the rule in question was using 2d10 instead of d20 for D&D 3.5. I was just trying something different. I like to world build, as most people probably know that are subscribed to me, and I tend to like more exotic worlds than aren't the typical vanilla D&D setting. This is where the creativity part comes in. I enjoy it to no end, but my target audience, my players, don't always have the same tastes in exotic fantasy settings as I do. Sometimes they like that generic vanilla D&D setting, so that's something I've had problems with. As an example, my Marth Ice world is a dying, frigid setting with a twist on all the standard races, with all kinds of different sub-races, and the gods are dead, so it's kind of a grim setting, and I actually ran that only twice, and then my group at the time just never wanted to enter that setting ever again. So I guess they just got tired of the cold, and, winter sucks. So yeah. Another setting, let's see here, is my Burning Heaven setting. It's also exotic in the fact that it doesn't have any traditional fantasy races at all. It has no humans. The sky's on fire, so it's a little bit different. It's like a young setting, so that there's not a lot of history to it. The history is being made by the player characters themselves. So that's a little bit different. But same thing, the players just weren't really into that. I've only been able to run that in a play-by-post fashion. All right, for question 2, have you ever voluntarily or involuntarily surrendered that considerate gaming style disposition and really just stuck it to your players? Have you ever just gone crazy on someone? I'm going to talk a little bit about something that has nothing to do with gaming after I do the stuff that focuses on players. With my players, I tend to give a lot of warnings first, and then I don't really let them have it. I just sort of, I like to talk things out. I'm really not a fighter. It really frustrated my wife at first because she enjoys fighting, and I like to talk things out, cool down first. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my personality, my temperament. The only situation I can think of that was actually like this is when I did an in-character rant in a mixed Old World of Darkness campaign. And I've talked about this, I think, a few times now, where there was a werewolf character that went into a laundromat and right in front of this old lady ripped her clothes out of the washing machine and slopped them on the ground in front of her and proceeded to wash his clothes. And this old lady just flipped the hell out on him. I think I bruised my finger because I was pretending it was like a cane. I was beating it on the table, and I was, what are you doing, you stupid fucker? I'm gonna kick your ass. My son is gonna kill you. And she just went off on him. I think the tirade rant of that character lasted for 5 minutes, and the player was he was taken aback. He didn't expect that reaction. It was kind of a dick move. If I would go down to the laundromat and throw an old lady's wet laundry on the floor when her machine was running, and she had already put the quarters in, so it was a funny situation in hindsight. But the character was like, whoa, he's really kind of giving it to me, and he kept trying to get the words in edgewise, and the old lady was just shutting him down. But yeah, in another situation. I'm gonna go all the way back to, I think it was 10th grade in high school, and I had 2 hours of sleep. It was homeroom. I was doing my advanced math class. I think it was geometry at the time, and I'm trying to rush it through, get it done in homeroom because I didn't do it the night before. And two of my friends actually were behind me. One was sitting down, and he was kind of a more laid back guy like me. And my other friend was sort of he kind of had some dickish qualities to him. And he knocked my other friend's desk down. He got up or something. And my considerate friend was trying to pick it back up, and the dickish friend was putting his foot on it and just not letting him do it. I don't know. It was dumb. They were just kind of messing around. I don't know. And I just turned around and said, "Hey guys, come on! I got to try to finish this homework. You mind just whatever, just stop whatever you're doing." And I turned around, and my friend's like, "You need to shut up, turn around, and mind your own fucking business." And what happened after that is I only found out via my friends that were in homeroom because I totally blacked out. I don't know if it was a mixture of sleep deprivation, stress, all the shit going on in my home life, all that stuff. But I was sitting at my desk doing my geometry homework, and then I was three-quarters of the way across the room letting go of his neck. And apparently I had stopped right in front of the girl that I had a crush on at the time, and oh god, she looked at me like I was an alien. I was like, oh, what the hell did I just do? But my friend said that I stood up, I grabbed the dickish friend around the neck, and I proceeded to slam him down on a desk right beside my desk, and I just started walking. So I'm pushing desks like a snowplow across the room, in front of my wannabe significant other that never happened. So yeah, that's the only time that I think I've actually let somebody have it. It wasn't dealing with players though. All right, question 3. Besides Tolkien, what books and/or authors have played a formidable role in influencing your gaming style, campaign development, and mastery of role-playing? I'm just going to list a few here. The A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin, I think, is probably one of my favorite series, favorite authors. Just the sheer detail and quality he puts into his work is just amazing. I'm really looking forward to him hopefully putting out a few books quickly now that the series is trying to catch up to him. I have a bad feeling that the series Game of Thrones on HBO is going to surpass him. Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. I just liked a lot of the philosophy behind this book and the different characters and what they go through, the dilemmas they have to face. Of course, the Conan stories by Robert E. Howard have been very influential, especially when I run Barbarians of Lemuria in the Hyborian Ages. The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. I've always liked the idea of child protagonists facing horrible danger. The main character is a child, a young kid. And I've run a few games where all the PCs were children protagonists. My Shadow Children game that I ran for a while, where kids see horrible things and are changed by them. Themes of like abuse, like a Changeling Lost. I think also that's influenced me to some degree. The Dune series by Frank Herbert. I really love his books. Towards the end of his series, I've found that I'm not as interested. It's mainly like the first 3 or first 4 books of his series. Although the Butlerian Jihad, Machine Crusade, and the Battle of Corran are a trilogy put forth by his son and Robert Anderson, I think, or Christian Anderson. But they're very good. The Never-Ending Story, and I don't actually know the author offhand right now, but that book is surprisingly really well written. The first time I read that, I was blown away that the Never-Ending Story movie is only really the first fourth of that book, and then it just keeps going on and it's just really spectacular and fantastic. There are a lot of stories out there that I could name, but I think those are the ones that just came to mind, so those are the ones I'm going to go with. All right, question 4. What tools and/or methods do you use to create a sense of simultaneous in-game and out-of-game panic? Do you have an example of how your methods for creating a sense of paranoia impacted your players? The best way that I've found to produce paranoia and panic is to play the game Dread, and it uses the Jenga tower as a mechanic. It's the first mechanic, I think, that actually it evokes an emotional response. Every time I've played that, I've you're just paranoid that someone's going to bump the table, someone's going to sneeze, someone's going to flail their arm out while they're role playing and accidentally hit it. It's a lot of fun. If you've never played Dread, I really recommend it. Um, I've also done things like turn off the lights, closed all the windows. I've held candles or a glowing crystal ball underneath my face. I've told players to close their eyes, and then I walked around the table whispering into their ears, blowing on the back of their necks, even lightly touching their shoulders. But make sure you have permission from your players before doing some of this stuff. This is, again, is part of that trust factor, I think, that comes in with your players. A lot of times, too, if you give vague answers, it sounds kind of silly, but if you leave vague answers or there's a lot of enigmas going on, the players start to just concoct all these horrible, strange things that could be going on, and a lot of times the players themselves freak themselves out. Their ideas and guesses at what lies beyond the corner or what is in that unfathomable darkness is worse than anything you can ever come up with. So you almost use your players against themselves. So I recommend doing that. All right, and this is the final question. Do you see changes brought about from fatherhood manifest in the games you play, the literature you read, and any of the poetry you write? This is kind of a weird one, but I am playing a character named Burton Seitel in Zig Copacetic's A Song of Ice and Fire campaign, where we are characters in a minor house. I have been enjoying playing the scheming bastard that he is, but even with him being what he is, I have had him consider the possibility of having children, things that I haven't really thought about a lot previously when I played characters. He recently slept with the mother of one of the other characters, the lady of the minor house, the House Seitel, so that possibly one day his child might sit on the Lord's seat. That might include the killing of this other character, so that my son does sit on that throne, that seat of power. He thinks of it, to himself, that even if he ruins his name, all of his schemes come back to haunt him and eventually kill him, that his child won't be associated with him, won't be tarnished by his deeds, and he'll have some sort of future. And so I guess the feeling of fatherhood and having a son definitely influenced those decisions I made as a player for my character's life. He's also hoping that his son's life will be better than his own. He'll have more opportunities, less misery, those sorts of things. As far as my poetry, I really haven't written too much. I tend to be a poet that writes like when I'm in the depths of despair or really miserable. Life throws me a horrible curveball I didn't expect, death in the family, and these sorts of things. So lately it's, I don't know, I kind of expect something horrible to come down the road, but lately it's been pretty good. It's been dealing with my family. Raising a son is challenging, but it has a lot of benefits and lots of things to look forward to. Every milestone he achieves is pretty wild. It's cool to see a little person developing, a little personality, and he's definitely going to be stubborn, headstrong like me and his mother. We're both firstborn children, so we're imparting that to him, I think. But that's it. Thanks for the questions, Andre. I hope they were answered in the way you wanted them to. All right, and thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good one.